Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to solve uh, one of the popular question that you have come across that says that how would you improve something, and in today's question we will try to solve how would you improve the Facebook login. Let's just get started with this thing. This is the general framework that I recommend people to follow, because I myself find this very useful thing to do. And the idea is to have a general discussion with the interviewer about the question that is being asked. So, what is being asked here? You are being given a question that says that how would you improve something, and in this something is they are asking us to uh, how would you improve the Facebook login, right? So I would recommend you to clarify with your interviewer, hey, and just say something like this: hey, I just want to talk aloud, think aloud about what is being asked, so that I have a clear understanding of what is that exactly we want to do. So if you could just listen to me and try to and I would also confirm with you if this is if my thinking or am I thinking in the right direction or not. And by saying something like this, it will help interview that hey, you're trying to think about a question, you're just not asking something randomly, because this interviewer have might have taken so many interviews that they know that hey, I want to understand whether it is being created for region, whether it is created for web user, etc, etc. So it is my recommendation that you go and just state that I will be just talking about those things, I'm trying to understand what we are trying to do, and just don't say that hey, I have a few clarifying question. You don't have to specify that separately when you follow this approach. So what you could say that hey, and what could be the talking point. So what you see on your screen right now is like hey, uh, so we want to improve the Facebook login, right? So FB login, we're talking about like a user who put their user ID and user ID and password to login. We are not talking about login with Facebook, like some other services and other website allow FB as a form of as a medium to log in into your account. So we are not using that, right? So we are mostly about email ID, and we want user to log in with that through our web page. Yeah. So considering Facebook is on a mission to connect people all over the world, and this is a login that we want to login improvement that we are talking about. So I assume that the goal of improving and doing this exercise is to improve the user experience. Yeah, and is my assumption is right? Is this what we want to do? Um, just ask that, and it would be mostly yes, or you could just ask them, hey, is there I am assuming that we are the goal of this exercise is to improve the user experience, and or is there any other goal that we want to achieve. So you could have this conversation with the user or with the interviewer right away, and then you could have this general talk, right? So this is an interesting problem to solve, so let's see what we can do to improve it. So, and before we proceed, I just want to have a clarity, if are we talking about a web page login or a mobile login, because let's because this will help me understand if there is any specific devices channels you want to look for improvement. And I assume that let's start with the web page, because we are using a laptop. This way I will be able to communicate better to you. Okay, fine. And another follow-up question could be this: I think it is also important that to consider which region or geographies that we are looking to make those improvement, because see, depending on kind of geographies you live in, you might have a very low cost and high speed internet, and others might not. So our strategy of making some changes and improvement might affect those things as well, and we have to keep those constraints in mind when we recommend say any improvement to anything. So is there any region that we targeting? No, not right now, but you could assume things. So let me think that we are targeting developed countries like US and Europe. So let's go with that. Okay. So next is understanding the general framework. You have heard about a general framework for solving a product design question, but it is also important to understand what is being asked. Here they're talking about one simple thing. So we want to improve the user experience. So you cannot just go and say that hey, I want to understand the goals and constraints, then you talk about users, then pain point, and then blah blah blah. The general framework will not work, because the idea is to improve particular thing process. Idea is to improve the user experience, and it will happen only when you know what kind of experience, what kind of process the particular user have to go through. So I would recommend, my recommendation is this: uh, uh, say that hey, I want to understand. So this is the structure I think I will follow. I would try to understand what is the current process, and once I am familiar with the current process, I will analyze those process and try to understand what flaws exist and where it lacks, and depending on that we could suggest those improvement if it is really needed or not. Okay. uh, so let me move on. So current FB page, we talked about web application, web app, right? So this is how it looks like currently. It has the light blue color, blue shade with everything in the written format, right? And if you have to do the check the sign up also the same. It just pop up another the window that says that hey, sign up, and it is asking you for a general details. So nothing fancy about this. So next step is to understand hey, now I would like to analyze those things what exist currently, and let's talk about it one by one. So FB background, well, I see that FB background is a light page, and this could be that it could be loaded easily and specifically useful when you have a low speed internet because you're not trying to download very high graphic content. So this is a good strategy that Facebook is following, right? When email and phone numbers and password, right? So that column where on the right hand side that we have seen recently, so it has all the words and one person need to read it, and this is a pretty standard stuff that we have seen across the websites. And then we have the login. There is a big blue button that says login. You just need to click on it, and if credential is right, it will take you to your FB page. If not, you get a message that hey, wrong credential, use your user ID or password might not be the correct one. And so these are the things that we have seen in general, right? So I want to talk about the user, right? I believe that we are targeting developed countries, so let's think about a user who has access to high speed internet, and I'm assuming that it's a person who is dwelling into urban, has uninterrupted source of FB, source of internet, and it's a high speed. So that's the kind of user that I'm thinking about, and let's talk about as is process and what it lacks and where can we see improvement. If I had to see for FB background, I see that FB is about connecting people, right? That's the thing, right? It's connecting people. It's on mission to connect people all over the world. But just by going with a plain background, I don't think it's really amusing me. It's not indicating with the visuals that hey, this is what the Facebook is about without even saying those things. So I think we could make this improvement, like making the FB more like a FB, like it's about connecting people. Maybe we have it's about adding colors to the people's life, right? So I see that there is a room that we could have in terms of making changes to FB background. Another is that email and phone number password. It assuming that I can read and understand those things. What about the people who are in the local region? Can they really understand? English is a language they have used, but if I'm not familiar with this, how I'm supposed to understand what is being asked and what I have to do? So there is no icon or indication whatsoever. Next is the problem that I have seen is that when I click this login, it doesn't do anything. It's processing everything at the background, and when this is happening, it is really hard to know like if you have pressed the button or not. So just double check it. I had to press the button twice or thrice to make sure that I am doing a good job of it, and then I see that there is a scope of improvement that exists here, right? So what can be improved? The first is a FB background. I would like to have more colors to it that typically shows that hey, uh, FB is about this. Another way to go about this improving FB color is like what Google is doing. We would like to have a feature like where we are covering important events or season that exists. And if you talk about India, like there is this thing, like there is holy celebration that coming up, Diwali that is coming, important dates and personalities. We could celebrate that and talk about this thing and person that basically are related to that, and let the image speak about the brand better. So that's one thing I would definitely exist. Now what is happening, I would this button, like I would like to add icons that shows that hey, this is a user ID, this is a user image that I'm supposed to see. That is one thing. Another thing is that once I click the button, I would assume I have to assume that something I have clicked it or not. So maybe if you could change the color of button, or maybe I would not see the change the color. Maybe if you can, we have this meta infinity sign, so maybe why not put the infinity sign, why not promote the brand, the logo of our Next is improve. Next feature is going a little far. Like it's about improving login experience. Idea is to make sure that we are extending the user journey of a login, and I would say that the way we have done for web apps, like hey, welcome to Meta. I would like to get this kind of one thing. That's a message. It's not a big deal to do. Another way that we could go is based on the last activity, right? If you could ask the user if they would like to continue where you have left and take me to the feed page or home page, instead of like take me to the feed page or home page. That's a usual journey. Like if you log in, it will usually take you to the feed page, right, home page. But if you could ask user, hey, would you like to continue where you have left, and this way, even if they are logged in after a month, they know show that what where they have left. So that's another way to show that. And another is that I'm just extending login experience pop up to show what you have missed, some important events, your friend's birthday, like hey, you have usually wish this particular friend every year, but you have missed it. Hey, would you like to send a belated birthday wish? I think that kind of improvement could go a long way. So these are my suggestions that I feel it's pretty much possible. But hey, we haven't. There is one more step that you have to take. You need to prioritize. You need to understand what kind of effort that it's needed to build something versus kind of impact it will create. So let's start with it, and this is what I call a prioritization exercise, and this is why you have to do it. And believe me, once you do that, there is a need, like when you do this effort versus value analysis, you are supposed to give a reason, like hey, why this particular you think that is a high impact versus high value versus high efforts. You have to give a precise reason. Maybe one is sufficient, but two is excellent for each of those things that we have suggested. And when we talk about reasoning, you will know that this is what really matters. Like it's not that you're doing this shows that candidate is not doing this on his on his biases. It's his objective about selecting this particular thing. And I guess that's it about it, like in today's video. So if you guys like it, please like the video and please subscribe and press the bell icon. I will be putting more videos in the product handle tube, and our team is continuously working on improving the product management experience for our students and our subscriber. Thank you.